Welcome to This Week with Old Sarge. Yep, got the Halloweenus up behind us. Christmas pig getting all excited. Woo, she's almost here. So a couple videos back, we talking about State Police Academy, who could swim and who couldn't. Well, we're going back to the academy again this week. We're going to find out who can drive and who thinks they can drive. Yep, going down to the old skid pad. So let me kind of lay out what the skid pad looks like. Got you a big old rectangle of concrete down here. You got a single lane of concrete coming right into it. Looks like a big old T. So the way this is going to work, we're going to need two old troop cars. Ones that kind of used up. People ain't too worried about what happens to them. We're going to put an instructor in the passenger front. We're going to put a recruit behind the wheel and two recruits in the back seat. Going to do the same thing for the other troop car, and the rest of your recruit platoon will be standing out in the grass around the old skid plate. Their job is to reset cones and fill divots. So, the way this is supposed to work, you got your big old top of the T here, and you got your single lane coming into it. So you're going to start up here, but you're going to start backwards. And when the instructor tells you to go, you're going to back up, and you're going to pull into this parking space made of cones. And you're supposed to stop there. Now, once this thing gets going, obviously the second troop car will cut across your nose while you park there. Because we got to keep this moving. Got a big old class. Got a lot of folks to get through this skid plate exercise. So as soon as it's clear, the instructor is going to tell you to go. And you're going to pull out and you're going to drive down that T onto that big, huge rectangle of concrete into a line of cones on either side. And you got to stay in between all these cones as you're going through there and not knock any over. And then go blasting back up the top of that T past that troop car that's parked in that parking spot. Here's the tricky part though. Not only you got cones all over showing that parking spot and coming down to the big rectangle, but once you feed in there, you're going to have a nice wide, like a funnel, but this isn't a continuous radius corner. It's going to start tightening up and tightening up. So if you don't go in right, you're not going to come out right. And if you don't come out right, the cones are going to be flying. You're going to have to negotiate your way through these cones, and then you're going to have to make another one of these 180s coming back out to get to that T and blast up past that parked troop car. Make it more interesting, this is for time. Oh yeah, instructor got a stopwatch with him. He got a big old clipboard. Got everybody's name on it. He's keeping track of how many cones you hit, how many times you left the course, and what time it took you to complete the course. Woo! So I wasn't in the first group because I kind of wanted to see how this thing worked. So I'm standing back in the grass with the rest of my classmates watching these two groups in the troop cars. And the first troop car, he's sitting up there, and you see the reverse lights come on, and it starts backing up. Pulls in that parking spot, does a pretty good job, but notice that the reverse lights are still on. It's like, hey folks, we probably ought to move out of the way. What? His reverse lights are still on. So they're like, what? And sure enough, boom, instructor must have told him to go. He launched that thing backwards right through a wall of cones. Boom, 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 boom. Plus left some big old divots. And that's when the instructor is going to say something like, were your parents married when you were conceived? Something kind of like that, just not as nicely. But it does get the point across. Put the transmission in drive, dumbass. Make a left 90 degree out of here and let's get on with this thing. So, obviously a few cones are getting tossed around. Some people, whoo, that's like there's a cone killing contest, man. There's raining cones. So this course, as time goes on, isn't getting set back up just entirely right, like it was when they started. you're having to hurry down in between the cars that are running through the circuit there and trying to reset everything and, put all the grass back in the big old divots that troop cars are leaving when they spin off into the grass. It's supposed to teach you doggone vehicle control. All right? You don't go too fast, you don't go too slow, you go just right that you can keep everything under control and you can make it through. So we're out there staying pretty busy. These cones flying around, and like I said, they're not getting these cones back exactly right. So now it's my turn. Jump in behind the wheel, put my seatbelt on, instructor sitting right there, two classmates in the back. Instructor says, "Hey, how much driving time you guys got?" I said, "Well, I got 15 years. One of the oldest people in my doggone academy class." So he's like, "All right, 15 years, how much you did?" He's like, "All right." He said, "Get ready to back up, put it in that parking spot." "Yes, sir." Put it in reverse. He says, "Go, drive backwards, palm that steering wheel around, smash her down into drive and get ready to go forward. Foot on the brake." Check mark on the old clipboard from the instructor. Other troop car goes blasting by in front of me. Instructor looks around. Go. Hits time. Go blasting out of there. Go zipping down this long leg of this T to the old skid pad as fast as I can. Get on the brakes. Got the nice anti-lock brakes. Allows you to keep steering while you're braking. Try to kill enough of that speed that I can make it through that old funnel or that corner, making that 180. Woo! Your doggone classmates fuck you at this point because they're in such a hurry to put cones back. They end up putting cones right in the middle of where you need to be driving. There is no way to get out of this doggone curve without hitting a cone. I got one right in front of you. It's like, what the hell? Boom, hit a cone. Instructor marks it down anyway. It's like, all right. Drive on through there, make it out the other side, go blasting out, do a little fire drill, new driver, sit in the back, buckle in, here you go. Woo! It's a hell of a day, but I think some folks learned some things pretty good. Now they reset the course. You're still going to go down this long leg down to the skid pad, but right in the skid pad they got a line of cones like a wall in front of you. Got a big old gap on either side, but then you got to funnel out opposite that wall from where you came in, so you're going to have to drive around and out again for time. Now, just to make it a little bit interesting, they told us this, they pulled the fuse out of the anti-lock brakes. And they said, "Look, you're going to have to learn how to drive without anti-lock brakes. You're out there in a big old pursuit. Maybe your anti-lock brakes stop working on you. You're going to have to be able to deal with that situation without losing control of the troop car." All right, I drove older cars my whole life. I'm pretty much used to that kind of situation where you don't have anti-lock brakes. So finally gets to be my turn, and here I go blasting down through there. And you're supposed to get the car up to 30 miles an hour and hold it there. Instructor sitting beside you, two classmates in the back seat. So I got the old 3 and 9 o'clock on the old steering wheel. Go drive them right down there, 30 miles an hour, and them cones, that wall of cones is getting close. And she getting closer, and she getting closer. The instructor says, "Right." Whoop that wheel hard to the right, just like that. The front of that troop car just jumps. Jam on the brakes, and while I'm skidding towards the end of that line of cones, bring the wheel back this way, still skidding. Physics. As long as you're going in a direction, you're going to keep going in that direction until something happens to change your direction. So when I get past the end of that line of cones, I let off the brake. Front end of that troop car, boy, she jumps hard to the left. Go the opposite way again, to the right, hit on them brakes and start skidding till I get lined up. Get lined up with the exit right there, let off the brakes, front of that troop car jumps around, go right out. Best doggone driving I ever did, no anti-lock brakes. Woo, but some people, Some of these younger folks we had in the class never drove without anti-lock brakes. They get that thing up to 30 mile an hour, hit them brakes. You can see them in there turning that steering wheel, and that troop car still going straight because them brakes are locked up. Boom! Right through a wall of cones, and here it is raining cones again. Run out there, reset it. Big old divot out in the grass, fix that. Whew! Did a lot of driving that day. Did a lot of cone fixing and a lot of divot fixing too. Whew! But it was fun. Sometimes you get to have fun. Just don't act like you're having fun, because it's Stress Academy and they'll be all over you for it. So, shout out section this week. Shout out to all my B troopers out there doing the JOB, holding true to their oath, regardless of these mysterious, nonsensical things politicians come up with. Hold true to your oath. You always be on the right side of everything. So we appreciate what you're doing. So thank you. Thank you very much. And you best be keeping track of each other now, doggone it. Military, we appreciate what you're doing out there, at home and overseas, keeping us safe, standing a post, holding that line. It is appreciated. So thank you. Thank you very much. So till next week, me and Christmas Pig. Bye now.